Hello there, Ian here once again, and it's a pleasure to be able to be with you. I hope this is catching you happy, healthy and strong. Today I'd like to share a couple of ideas on the topic of teamwork. Now, building teams and getting results from a high performance team, that's a big subject. I'm not going to go through all of the principles, but it has come up quite a few times in recent conversations. So I think these ideas may help you where you are now in getting better performance from your team. I hope they help you on your journey. So to begin with, let me share an experience that I had many years ago as a young employee as part of a big corporate. I was sent on a team building course and it was fun. I loved it. It was a great experience. We were sent out into the country. We did some exercises that challenged us mentally, got us working together, challenged us a little bit physically, and we had time to discuss and chit-chat in the evenings, which I found very useful. When we got back to the office, though, it was like that was it. You've gone for the team building workshop, the training, you are a better team player. It was like we ticked a box. And that can be a danger, because if we rely on those programs alone, they are unlikely to get better team performance just from the course. So here are a couple of ideas that hopefully can help you where you are now in getting better performance from your team. The first of those principles is to decide how you would know that your team is performing at a better level. How would you know? Yes, there are the big things that we can measure, like how good our balance sheet is, our profit and loss, our company valuation, our cash balance. Those we always want to measure, but they take quite a long time to see results. We're generally looking at those things at the end of the financial year. We need some shorter term indicators to let us know whether our team is performing at a better level. And there are lots of them to choose from. There are things, the obvious ones like sick days, the number of days people are off for medical reasons, the staff turnover, the resignation rate from the companies, the number of customer complaints, the projects delivered on time, the number of mistakes, the time it takes for certain processes to get done. All of these are potential metrics that can tell you that your team is performing at a higher level than they were. So the first principle is decide how you would know your team is healthier than it was. That's pretty much step number one. Then we work backwards and say, okay, how do we get there? 3 quick ideas to help build on that one. The first of them is, what are your foundational principles for running the company? And some people call them core values, core principles, but those are your rules of the game. These are our principles for getting the job done in our company. Get agreement for what they are. Now, maybe you've been through an exercise to discover what they were previously, and maybe they're not alive and well in the company, and you might want to revisit them. But step one in getting that better performance is to decide what those core principles are and get agreement around the entire company as to what they are, and they're not open to negotiation. Those are the key principles. Step one. Number 2, then how do you build on those? And this is where team building workshops can come into play, provided that they're well chosen and they relate back to those core principles. And those can take a number of different forms, but those are useful to build on those core principles. Yes, there's technical skills-based training that goes along with that. We can't forget that. But it all comes together in the application of those core principles for how we work together. So decide the principles, apply some training, and then follow through. And that was what was lacking when I did my team building work, when I was a participant on my team building workshop. There was no follow through that I could tell. So follow through is never finished. It's never done. And if you are the leader of a department, a team, or if you are the leader of the company, it's you. The leader sets the tone for that team. And how do you set the tone? By being consistent to those foundational principles that we talked about a few minutes ago. And that follow through is a minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day commitment to those principles. And then, of course, you keep your eye on the metrics that tell you whether you're being successful and what needs to be fine-tuned in the way that your team is performing. And then when you get to the end of the year, your big metrics, your balance sheet, your cash balance, your valuations, all those things can be enhanced at the end of that longer period. So I really hope that that did make sense. Quick summary: teamwork works. Ad hoc workshops are unlikely to produce results. Decide how you are going to measure whether your team is performing. Decide the core foundational principles that get the job done under your company roof. Training and workshops in line with those principles are very useful, and then follow through continuously. And if you're the leader, that's a big part of your job, to make sure those principles are being adhered to, and keep your eye on the metrics that tell you that your team is healthy. I really hope that that did make sense. If you found it useful, you may want to consider subscribing to the channel. That's on the little red button in the corner there. And you may drop a thumbs up, give us a like, and I really hope that that helped. For now, stay well, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.